joined by Grace and Aaron of When Rivers Meet.
Bury my body, love, in 6th grade. Bury my body, love.
Dude,
how are you doing?
Hair, man. Yeah, cool.
We're really good, thanks. Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I noticed you were poorly the other day, Grace, apparently.
Yeah, really bad. Right, we're just literally at final vocals time on the new album and get a cold. Great.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's some guide vocals where I'm just singing. Oh, God.
Oh, dear. So I'm here with Aaron and Grace of When Rivers Meet. Thank you very much for joining me, guys.
Oh,
Thank
pleasure.
you for having
Thanks
us.
for having
Good
us, man.
to speak to you.
So since we last spoke, of course, you've released Saving Grace, which has gone on to win UK Blues Album of the Year and Planet Rock's Best Album of 2022, beating Iron Maiden. You know?
I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Yeah.
When you were making that record, did you have a feeling that it was going to be this kind of success that it's been?
No, I don't think we did, to be honest. We were quite consumed at the time as well of the expectation of the second album.
Yeah.
So we were more worried about
making it as good, if not better, than the last album.
Yeah. And so we definitely didn't anticipate how well it has done, which is amazing.
It feels like it's really elevated you guys up to this kind of whole new level now. Like obviously you got regular airtime on Planet Rock. You're busy, you're touring, you're doing this, that, and the other. It does feel like there's such a big impact. I mean, as you mentioned there, there's always this pressure around the second album. I feel like it's like, you've done your first one, but now you got to get serious. Like,
Yeah.
Do you have when it comes to songwriting, do you have a particular process that you have? Like, do you kind of have a collaboration from the very beginning, or do you go away and work separately?
Yeah, so what normally happens, we've found over the years through songwriting, the thing that works best for us is if we come up with an idea, or one of us has an idea, we separate. I'll go and do lyrics. Grace will start doing the music, putting the melodies down and things like that. Come together, see what we've both got, put them together, see what works, see if we start liking what we're doing. And if we really start loving what we do and we carry on with it, if one of us, or both of us think, I'm not sure about this, then we just scrap it and move on to the next one. So basically that's how it goes.
Quite ruthless.
Quite ruthless, yeah.
Wouldn't it be awkward if one of you were feeling this record and you're like,
It could be really awkward. Luckily, it doesn't. We don't very often disagree on whether we like something or not.
Yeah.
So it might be like when we come together and I've worked on a riff and got a melody going. And normally, if I'm like, what do you think? And he's like, I'm normally thinking about the same thing. I'm normally like, is it quite? So it normally we balance each other out with a little bit of objectivity on what the other person is doing. But
totally, yeah. I mean, it did happen on one of the songs that we did that we wrote called Tomorrow.
That's a good one.
I didn't like it. I was like, oh no.
The night before we went in the studio, he was like, no, it's
just not going to work. It's not going to work. Yeah. And then we went into the studio because we was doing it acoustically. And then we did it. We went in the studio and we put electric on it and we started putting some bits on. I was like, oh, no, I see it now. So
we don't always agree then, obviously.
No. But I think that was the only one time. And
I was right.
She was right.
Of course, you were busy as well. You released the live album last year, Flying Free, which I believe you've just got the double vinyls come through for that. I saw the post. I felt the relief in the post. Just
big relief. Yeah,
especially when people have pre-ordered and it's like, come on, hurry up.
Yeah.
So what do you just send them out now? Are they ready to go, ready to be released?
They are ready to go. So working through those at the moment to get them out, which is really exciting to see what people. Well, a lot of people have already heard it because we've done the CD's been out for a while. But there's something so cool about the live album because it kind of feels like you're back at the gig.
Yeah.
And our producer, who worked on the mix and stuff, he really worked on putting the music in a space. So it feels like you're there. It's one of those, it probably just sounds cliche, but we sat in here, when we got our test press, we sat and put it on the turntable. And to start with, I was like, you sort of listening, it's not the normal mix, it's not studio quality.
It's not studio mix,
And then I was like, oh no, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the vibe being back at the gig. And it was such a cool gig as well. It was such a good gig.
You can really feel the energy, can't you? You really feel it.
It was like a light that night in that room, and you can feel it. It's really cool.
On here we always we push vinyl because we think that it's the way to go. Totally. Do you feel the same? Like, obviously I've seen that most of your releases have a vinyl. Do you feel the same? Like, I know it's such a cliche, people go, it sounds warmer or whatever, but I don't know, I think it does. I think there's something extra there.
Absolutely agree. I mean,
I think it's not just the sound of it, it's also like when you put a vinyl on a turntable, you can't just leave it. Well, we don't anyway. Like we're too, we sit and you watch it and you make sure that you're listening to every track. It's just a completely different experience to like. Don't get me wrong, we have Spotify. You can discover loads of people on it, but it's not as precious. And there's something precious about music on vinyl.
I think like what Grace is saying, literally a case of when you put a vinyl on, you sit down and listen to it, don't you? More than you would necessarily a CD or
read the sleeves, which I love
exactly.
doing.
You immerse yourselves in the experience of what you're listening to. I think more with a vinyl, definitely. Yeah.
This is the first time it's you've done like a double vinyl, isn't
it? We couldn't fit it all onto one vinyl without the quality being compromised, so we double.
Obviously, you kind of touched on it a little bit there that you were doing the third album, and I understand that you obviously can't reveal too much at this point. But how does? I mean, you said there with the second album you feeling a bit of pressure. Do you feel pressure with the third album, or do you think we've got this down at this point?
I think. Well, I think I don't feel the pressure like I did with the last album, but there is a but. What do you think?
No, I don't either, in a way. I think, like you said, I think with the second album, and also it kind of coincided, we then had our first headline tour, and it all started to feel like this is real now, because so much of it for us, even though we've been gigging for years in pubs, like being a known band at that level was really it's still new, but it was not real really. Even when the second album came out, we still hadn't been on tour properly. So with that second album, it was well received. So we haven't just fluked it with the first album. And then the tour was amazing. So it feels like we're now like, oh man, this is our life. This is really cool. And this is like our thing that we do, and we get to create music. So it weirdly, that's the first time I thought about it when you said then if you felt the pressure, because I haven't thought about it at all, which is really cool.
Also, like when we were recording the second album, we had the whole tour being set up at the time. We didn't even have a band. So we were starting it. We got the.
We didn't know what promoter done or what,
all these things we were learning, and we was having to sort out, weren't we? And this time we haven't had that, have we? So
no.
Yeah, that could have been some of the pressure that was on as well.
We didn't have a band. The tour was booked. We had no band. We'd never done a band gig with our stuff.
No,
only duo gigs. So there was quite a lot going on. Yeah.
With that kind of newfound comfort this time around, have you like look to try and do something a bit different? I mean, I understand you can't go into detail, but like, are you trying new things? Are we getting a bit experimental?
Yes.
Yeah. We're really bad at keeping secrets, so we'll tell you anything about it. But yeah, there's definitely new tone, like new sound, guitar sounds for sure.
Yeah.
which
Fuzz,
we definitely
Big Muff, things like that. Yeah, that we didn't use
You
before.
just wanted to say Big Muff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you know,
I'm just going to clip just that.
and then put it on repeat.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things, different elements that we're using as well, and also how we've approached the songwriting has been slightly different too. So yeah, there's a lot of different things going on.
I think before we were
subtle but different.
Like we were very embedded at that time in like a classic rock sound.
Yeah.
And this time we're much more experimental with the sound.
Yeah.
Like it's not as Gibson Marshall sound. It's like we're playing around with it a lot more. Yeah. And I think you'll hear it soon.
Yeah.
So,
won't be long.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is it like later this year? Are we looking at, or even
and like August?
Perhaps?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're looking around all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, we're really excited, don't we? So it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's really kind of it's one of them things now because the tour is booked for sort of it starts the end of April, and of course we want to just play all the new songs now. So we've got that battle of like, got to fall back in love with our old material because our heads are so in the new material. And of course, people want to hear to a certain extent the repertoire that they know. Yeah. So we're going to throw in 3, I think. Yeah,
maybe 3.
3 new ones.
And also, like from the last tour, some of the songs that we'll replace, and some of the other songs we might change up slightly that from what we did last time. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. Yeah.
I mean, I was just going to mention that obviously the tour does kick off on April 28th.
Yeah.
With the guest Ariel. Do you have for this tour? Is it just going to change per night? Is there like a plan, or are you kind of seeing what happens, feel the vibe of the room or something?
I would love to say, we're just going to feel the vibe of the room, man.
We're just this relaxed this time. We're just
we'll definitely pull together a solid set, and no doubt, especially like the first few shows, it'll evolve and we'll tweak stuff. But
just like we did on the last tour,
and we really had no idea of how that kind of worked before, and how much you need to fix and how much you can. I mean, we did switch a couple of songs last time.
We did switch some around,
but we've got more of an idea of what sort of preparation we need to do now. There were so many, like even the technical things. That was one of our biggest hurdles and learning curves, which we didn't even think was going to be a thing. We were like, we got all new gear, we're going to be great, got ears, which I just cried the first time I used them, like in ears, just cried. I was like, I hate it. Yeah. But so like it's taken the whole tour and a different person to set them up again. And
there's so many things we learned on the last tour. Massive amounts of things, and you can't explain half of them, you know. But we know come this tour, so many things, like I say, we've learned and we can now put into practice. I'm sure
there'll be another set ready for us.
No doubt there'll be issues occurring and things like that, but you know,
stuff we're going to learn.
Yeah, totally.
Which is good. Yeah.
Do you have any kind of a particular favorite songs that you look forward to playing live? Is there any favorite children?
Definitely.
Break the Law, which we opened with, which was off our which the first album opened with.
I think Lost and Found as well. I love playing Lost and Found, because just rocking out and Grace is like giving it some, you know, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, definitely favourites.
A question was like to kind of finish on for returning guests. It's a bit of an album centric thing, so it kind of ties in. If you could go back and, you know, jump in your time travel device and like guest on an album or go and witness an album being made, what would that album be, do you think?
I'd say Appetite for Destruction.
Oh man. That's a tough one. Maybe like, oh man, yeah, like a Bad Company. Like, how about that? There would be. I'm just thinking of like duetting with Paul Rogers now. Sorry.
Well, thanks. Right. Oh, God.
Yeah. I'm duetting with you, babe, but,
Yeah,
you know.
cheers, darling. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think. Yeah, that would be probably my choice.
Yeah.
Bad Company album. Yeah.
That's fair enough. I think the Appetite one would be a wild room to be in.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You've picked a very kind of like
Plenty of debauchery going.
lively room there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't go into any more details there.
Right, yeah, I'll get banned.
There you go, Rocket Man. Yeah.
Of course, thank you very much for joining me, guys. And obviously, you can catch When Rivers Meet on the tour when it starts in April. The link in the description for all those dates will be, well, it'll be below. So yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Oh,
And,
cheers, mate, for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Look forward to catching up with you guys down the line.
Definitely.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah. See you soon.